Well, let's get right into it, okay? It's a packed show for you this morning. As you've seen, we're joined right here in our Lagos studio by the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party here in Lagos State, Nigeria's commercial capital, Mr. Abdulaziz Adediroy. He's also the founder of Core TV. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on the program. Quite an interesting campaign process. In fact, an election generally, it's been projected that this would be the most intriguing, the most interesting election in Nigeria's history yet. And you were in Ikorodu recently, the home of your...
I'm still there.
I mean, in terms of the meetings you've had, and that's the home of your deputy governorship candidate. And you said some things. You asked them to vote for merit. We'll come to that. But I'd like to start on this note, because you particularly told the people that in the past, politicians have come to lie to them and they didn't fulfill promises. And you, in essence, were saying you will be different. You said you asked them about their problems and then said you will come back to fix it. So let's start, maybe to extrapolate for the whole of Lagos, particularly for the people of Ikorodu, because you say you're different. What were those issues they had, major, and the ones you feel that you will indeed be able to keep to that promise of coming back to fix, particularly how you'll do that?
Okay, first, let's speak about our own campaign strategy. So every other politician is going out there to campaign and say, vote for me, I'm going to do this. But in our own case, we're going to the people and seeking partnership. We're seeking partnership because, over the years they've been there, no government presence, nothing. That is why we decided to do a word-to-word tour, okay? So the usual style of the other side is when they go to Ikorodu like that, they go to the town hall and address party members, dance to Wasiu music, and return back to base. But in our own case, we have 19 wards in Ikorodu, and I've been in Ikorodu since Tuesday. Today is Thursday. I'm returning there now. Touring all the entire 19 wards, going to the inner of Ikorodu, you understand? Speaking to the people, stakeholders, asking them, what is that thing? And again, beyond going there to seek for vote or partnership, as I call it, it's also give us a first-hand information about the state of our state as a whole. And I can tell you, Kaudi, what we've been seeing, there are stories that are not sweet to the ears. I mean, in terms of infrastructure and everything. So Ikorodu, for instance, just like every other local government, have got terrible inner roads. The only part of Ikorodu that you see that is really working is the main Ikorodu road. When you go to, like, the place we visited, like Adamo, Maya, Elepe, Imota, yesterday we were there, you see how people live in the state that generates over 50 billion naira in a month. So for us, we're coming back to ensure that that wealth that everybody speaks about, we make it work for the state of Lagos. And let me say this to you. The state government, I mean, since we started this world tour, I mean, we started with Alimosho, and we showcased the state of Alimosho, the so-called, Tinubu's country, let me put it that way. And it was terrible in terms of road network. When we went there and we exposed everything that was there, so the government had to return there quickly and start fixing some roads. But the resident came out to say, we knew you were doing this because this guy came. Before now, you said to us that you can't do this road, there is pipeline or something, but suddenly you're fixing the road.
So how are you able to, because particularly for those issues that the people have, in terms of the promises you made to come back to fix them, in what time frame are you able to fix? You mentioned some particular roads in Ikorodu, and I imagine you're hoping to touch on all of the inner roads, not just in Ikorodu, Alimosho, and other areas. What time frame did you give the people?
Let me tell you, in our very first day in office, we will do a whole lot across Lagos. One, we need to decentralize development. Everybody comes here to the center in search of greener pasture. But if you give them development where they are, they will actually stay there. And we've seen that a lot of clustering at the center, and we really need to decentralize. So that's why we went round. So we will do a whole lot. You know why? Because we'll be coming in as independent government, the one that is not tied to a pawn string of anybody. And that would allow us to make Lagos wealth that we only hear now work for Lagos.
A whole lot is quite vague, really, because you have said it that you are different.
Yes.
So what does a whole lot mean? I mean, operationalize it, be practical about it, so at least people can particularly hold you to
That's
your
what
words.
I'm saying. I've told you why we're going around is to see, to know the state of our states. And with what we have seen, when we come into office, you see, Lagos State government has over 1 trillion budget. I mean, for the past 3 years now, they've been doing between 800 something and 1, and they've been reporting over 80% performance in terms of revenue and expenditure. And we can't even see that. So what we are saying is that we are coming in to ensure that you see that wealth in all sectors of our daily living. And that's what governance is all about. So it's just being able to deploy people's resources, you know, for them to feel it and see it. So what we have as we speak are just cosmetics, and people see and all of this. When you go to, you ask yourself when you get to somewhere and ask, is this Lagos? And things like that. So this is not, that is why when we go, you see all of this. Somebody was saying, oh, the government can't do what we're doing because, of course, there will be need for them to show the road they are passing through. And that won't all go away. So for us, we are coming in to look at, like, for instance, we're declaring a state of emergency in our education sector where we currently have over 2 million out-of-school children. And we don't need to come in one day and build infrastructure to take some of this off the school. With the policy of ours that we've been speaking to, first thing to do was to see how we can engage all private school owners, how we can make use of churches and mosques, and, you know, take off our children off the school. What will I do with private school owners? I'll tell them, I call a meeting. We have over 5,000 of them registered, even though we have almost 18,000, you know, of private schools in Lagos. And I'll say, look, I have a situation in my hand. I have a lot of my children out of school, and I need them to, I need to take them off the street. So I will see how many of them I can spread across those private schools. I'll give them uniform, I give them all the learning aids, I give them whatever they want, you know, in exchange for tax incentives, or holiday as the case may be, with those private schools, pending while I then embark on aggressive infrastructure renewal on our primary and secondary school. You understand? As we speak in the state of Lagos, in about how many years ago now, President Buhari signed into law the law extending the year of service of teachers from 60 to 65 years. I mean age, or retirement age, and 35 to 40 years for year of service. Lagos State government hasn't implemented that. So how will come, not only implement that, I will record those that were retired within that frame, so that we'll have more people back into the system.
Quickly, because on that point you made,
yes.
Pardon me, so you said you would engage private schools. You said 5,000 of them, so
yes.
That's like 200 children from that figure.
No, we don't necessarily
I'm just saying an average.
No, we don't necessarily take the entire
per
2 million.
school.
No.
Oh, okay, you don't plan to take all of them out of school?
We don't necessarily take the entire 2 million off the streets in 1 year,
whatever the case is, it's going to be an average of 200.
18,000 private schools.
Right.
Only 5,000 are registered.
Okay.
So the first registered one that are there, we'll see how much we can do. The 13,000 will quickly look at what do we need to do in registering them.
But Mr. Adedira,
aside that, we can as well, excuse me, Woki, aside that, we can as well look at even with the current state and see how we can take these children off the streets. I also mentioned use of churches and mosques. That space. To say, look, let us see how we can engage them during the school hours, spending when we embark on this infrastructure renewal. Yes, please.
Well, structure and, assigning school uniforms is not all there is, to standardizing, operations in the education sector. But, that aside, I've heard you talk a lot about your Lagos for Lagos campaign, which you have been at for quite some time now. Is your position that Lagos is currently not working for everyone, is this subject to empirical study? Besides your reference to the education sector, for instance, what are your findings in other sectors?
Absolutely. I just said to you that on a world tour for our campaign strategy, you live in Lagos, and you will see that from the entire 9,326 kilometers of roads that we have in Lagos, the ones that are really working is the 510 kilometers that belongs to the federal government. The entire 5,800 plus of local government is not working. About 80% of them are not working. So now, this is Lagos not working for us, and we hear of that huge revenue in terms of IGR, if you even put capital receipts and federal allocation into it. This is not how we should be living. I was at a TV station sometimes this week, and I spoke about River State not having as much as Lagos. And you see the governor commissioning project like every other day.
But the governor in Rivers has clarified that he has had access to derivation funds, for which he publicly thanked the federal government.
Okay, thank you. Put that together. These figures are out there. No. Whether it has anything compared to what Lagos is raking in, it's nothing. It's out there that Lagos topped that rank of, both IGR and anything in Lagos. It's undoubtedly. Okay, so, but I'm saying that with that little that he's got, we can see what he's doing in his own state. And what we're speaking to is that we can as well do that. But we know the problem. The problem is this monopoly that we need to break. If you have a governor that is independent, we won't have this problem. And that is what we represent. It's our choice to come this route. I could have also been governor the same way they are governor, but I chose this route because I want to be a governor that will speak to people and do same without anybody asking me.
How would you have been? Sorry, Kari, it would seem like, it's a campaign in the reverse. If you look at, the human development indexes, that we've had in the last couple of years, you find that, for instance, the multidimensional poverty index released, Lagos is not top on the list. In fact, it's, at the reverse. If you look at unemployment, Lagos, unlike other states, does not have a double-digit, figure of unemployment. Is at 9% as at, 2021. If you look at,
You're not speaking to latest reports, Auntie.
My 2021,
Auntie,
the figures are available online.
You're not speaking
If you look at migration,
2021 is not the latest report.
Many other, many citizens of other states are moving to Lagos, because it is the belief that you can at least get, your daily bread in Lagos. Okay, so it seems like your campaign is in the reverse.
Okay, let me educate you, in case you don't know. Poverty rates, when this guy came into office in 2019, was 4.5%. Today is 8.5%. Unemployment rate, when he came into office, was 14.6%. Today is 37.16%. That is not my data. That is MBS. Okay, you can check. Latest reports. Now, we had another report that in the year 2022, Lagos, with all the revenue, is now ranked among the top 5 states, with fiscal performance. I don't know if you understand, with all the money. Another report speak about the safest states in Nigeria. Lagos is not among the first 10. I think it is number 1. So, what is this speaking to? I don't know if you have a government with huge resources, and you still have all of these statistics not speaking to the resources. So it shows failure. And the reason is not far-fetched. I mean, it's because there is a monopoly that we need to break and open up the space to allow fresh ideas and new thinking. Until that is done, we continue to have the same report and this cosmetics of people saying they are working with nothing. Okay, let's go to what they've been celebrating. It's that bad that the government of Lagos celebrates. We just bought the Pangolo for the rail, is here. The cut channels to do live TV. Erecting the final beam, the cut channels to do live transmission.
Don't you think you're denigrating by calling it Pangolo? We all know what Pangolo means. Mr. Adediro, we understand politics, but you know what Pangolo means, right?
Years.
No, Mr. Adediro.
No, I'm not saying I need to get Pangolo.
No.
They bought Pangolo.
So what is Pangolo really?
Oh, you don't know what Pangolo is?
No, tell us what Pangolo is. And if it's carcass.
Carcass of what?
So is it carcass that the Lagos State government... No, you need to be clear on the facts. You understand what I'm saying? I don't. Okay. You need to be clear on the facts.
This is how low, and they've taken us for a ride, going all about, celebrating what is not, a project that you've been on for 13 good years, and is not even completed. You're still, calling everybody... It is bad. So we will come in and do things differently. That's why I say that the problem of Lagos is we have one head thinking for the state of Lagos for the past 24 years.
All right. When we started, we talked about your pronouncements, your campaign trail, the things you said, but also you said people should vote for candidates based on merit. And the question naturally will arise, has arisen in times past, about your track record, as it is said now in politics, either in private or the public sector, what successes have you recorded, particularly in, I imagine, more in the private sector now, that you hope to replicate in Lagos? The successes you've recorded and sustained up until this point that you want Lagosians to see and say, I've done this here, I'm still doing this, and I can do it in Lagos.
Okay, so let me tell you, like I said, I cut my teeth in the establishment of Government of Lagos. That's Lagos Broadcasting Corporation. So in 2007, I left certainty for uncertainty to set up my own business built from the scratch, which is a media agency. Okay, and I started this. And at a point when that business was practically serving, because I was consulting for the Office of Governor of Lagos State and Government of Lagos at that time. So towards 2013-14, I asked myself, because majorly this is basically what I was doing. So with this business going to extinction, with the expiration of the tenure of that governor, that was a question I asked myself. I was like, no, there's time for me to now break a new ground. So I left Lagos in 2013 to go to Abuja, to break that new ground. So I applied for TV license. I mean, a friend of mine who was working here said to me that, look, they can't give you this now. It is only, the president that gave approval for that. But I said, well, I'm going to apply. I did apply. Unfortunately, I was able to get that. And I floated what we call Core TV News in 2014. So from scratch. And everybody that worked with me at that time, they were all green on. You know how it is in the media industry when a new channel coming up, everybody will move from one place and go to another place. I didn't allow that to happen. I took on Greenhorn. We went into rigorous training. I built the majority of them are now in TVC. Some of them are here and everywhere, even working, and some are still with me. So that's something that I've done. That's one contribution I've made in this economy. And we have a terrestrial national license across Nigeria. So I've done that successfully. And coming into politics, I didn't just join like every other person who will come in and say they are contesting. No. I started this 7 years ago because we wanted to disrupt a narrative. And we know it's not something we're going to do that time everybody will jump into it. We took our time. So that's 2016.
Right.
So 2016, we built a structure across the local. In fact, we committed that unpardonable sin that you must not commit in APC.
While you were in the APC.
While in the APC, because you mustn't have your own structure. So we downloaded the constituency and built structure across the 377 wards using the new local government template. And we maintained that structure until we imploded APC and left for PDP January 21, 2022. Today, we're on the ballot. Not just on the ballot to end this dynasty.
So would you consider then that your endeavor in the private sector as a success you have sustained up until this point?
Absolutely. I diversed into other businesses, okay? Because, I mean, if in this country, if you really need to survive, there are other things that you need to do. So I diversed into other businesses, within the space. And today, I am where I am today.
So really, you would want to manage Lagos the same way you managed your business?
Absolutely, because if you have never had cause, to employ people before, to source for fund, know how to turn it around, still make profit, pay taxes, sustain the business, it will be difficult for you to run, a state. And that's the problem that we have currently.
Right.
The occupant of this office never had cause to do that. He has always been, a salary earner till somebody say, come and be. So it's difficult. That's why you can say that you met an unemployment rate of 14.6% when you came into office. You pumped 10 billion naira into it, according to you. And they still you still have 37.16%. So something is wrong somewhere.
Welfare is going to be a major part of your, it's a major yardstick to measure, really, any administration, because the Constitution says is that the welfare and security of citizens will be the major responsibility of government. And I chanced upon a recent interview you had where there was a caller that called in and was saying that one of your previous workers says that you hadn't paid him for, what is it, 8 months now? And I was expecting to get your response to that, but all you said was that, why bring it up now? And you never really, let me learn.
No.
You never really spoke to whether or not you actually paid that salary in that interview. So this is a platform for you to speak to that.
No. This is politics.
What does it know about, by the way?
They know it. There is nothing like that, and that's why I said
the interview.
I had the interview.
Okay,
there is
good.
nothing.
Or like the person saying that you are owing him.
Yes, there's nothing like me owing anybody.
Okay.
And if you look at it, and that's why I said, why do you have to come out when you said in 2014 or 2015 you worked with me, and it's 2023, you are now saying somebody was owing you? And we went on the profile of this person to check who is this person, and they now realized, oh, he's had some Photoshop with some Odu and all of that on his Facebook.
Was the person an employer of your organization?
My dear, the person in question should come out and say, I was in your destiny.
No, you said you have done some research. So did you see that the person
No.
So you didn't employ the person?
No.
The person was not in your employment
Let him come up to say, this is it. And the question is because we're playing policies. Why? Okay, if you're owing me, Kaode, for whatever it is, and you said you were, according to that person, for some number of months, and you were still coming to work, and how come you are the only one in that establishment? I don't know if you understand. Look, I have people who have worked with me here in these premises. I have in TVC where I was. I have everywhere.
And you've never owed salaries?
My brother, in this economy, when I started my business, I started from scratch, from nothing. When it's time for me, when I see that things were not going the way it should go, we downsize so that we don't find ourselves in this. This is politics.
So yes or no, you have never owed salaries?
No.
Because this will be a major issue.
I said the answer is no, Coyote.
You've never owed salaries?
The answer is no.
I mean, you can always expect what a man will do
can
based on what he has
do
done.
The needful?
No, it's
and
okay.
Let it come out and tell me.
Okay.
So why is he just tweeting? Put up evidence there.
And you have said that you never employed the person. The person never worked with you.
I didn't even answer that person because it's inconsequential.
So the person never worked with you, you never employed. So you hope this is put to rest.
We put it to rest since.
Okay, and people can trust your word on this.
Of course, let's put it to rest.
Okay, so let's talk about your chances politically, because people look at the numbers. I remember the brief chats we had before we came on, and I'm like, I mean, this is really what politicians do. They look at the numbers and they permutate. And for Lagos, we've seen Lagos time and again swing in the way of the APC. Well, before it was APC, always swung to that as well. And there will be questions about how you plan to pull that upset. Data-wise, realistically speaking, because they say politicians are eternal optimists. They'll tell you they can win even election in Mars, literally, because that's what they do. So looking at the figures, really, the performance of your party, especially the data we can hold in recent times, the recent polls put your party, the PDP, your candidates particularly, at third with other candidates, and particularly when you zoom into the Southwest, because this is about Lagos. Lagos has a huge chunk of a 14 population in Southwest. We see that even in the Southwest, your candidate...
This is a national poll?
Yes, but this is Southwest now for that poll.
Okay.
Your candidate is still third. Lagos has what? Over 7 million voters out of the, 16-point-something million voters in the Southwest. So whatever happens in Lagos affects us. So if your candidate is third in the Southwest, where Lagos plays a huge role, how do you plan to be first?
Okay, let me tell you something. If you go back, I was coming from APC, don't forget. And I have said over and over again, if you have data of previous elections in Lagos, you see that PDP has always been doing between 40, 35, 40, 45%.
But they've never won.
I just told you they've always been doing that, you know, when they were what they were.
That's 2 elections ago. The previous one was not as much as that.
No, of course. Previous one was...
I'm sorry, talking about 2019, which is more recent data.
Yes. So I'm speaking to the frequent ones, 2015, 20, you understand what I'm saying? So,
but not 2019, which is more recent.
I just put 2019 out there. We knew what happened in 2019. I was there.
Why are you choosing?
I was
picking and choosing data?
Have you seen the results of 2019 presidential election?
Yes.
It was like this, very close.
It wasn't like that. The distance between that is...
presidential.
So the APC had 580, and the PDP had 448. That's 130,000.
Can you compare it to the 700 to 200?
No, that's still data.
No, I'm saying.
No, that's still data.
Is it the same for governorship election results?
No. I'm speaking to something. I'm driving somewhere. The same election, okay, 2 weeks interval. One has a 100... deficit of 100,000.
130,000.
Exactly. The other one has over 500,000. So don't worry, we politicians know what happened there, but we won't discuss
No, tell us what happened.
No, don't worry, you don't need to know. We won't discuss it.
Then really we can say nothing happened.
Let's now go back to what I was speaking to.
All
so
right.
they've always been doing that.
Doing what exactly?
35 to 40%. Okay.
But not 2019.
I
So
said
you can't say
2019
always
is an exceptional
You
case.
have to put it together, Mr.
Okay, just let me tell you where I'm driving at.
All right.
So that is before now. But when we left APC for PDP, what they need to cross that threshold was what we have brought into PDP.
Which is how many?
From APC.
How many?
Even the day I declared alone, we had 41,000 people declared with us. I don't know if you understand. Party members. And these are the canvassers that will go and do the work and bring in more people out.
Organically,
of course. Organically.
Brought together.
We don't have money to buy crowd like them. Organically. This, don't forget, it was a struggle of 7 years ago before that movement. So there are lots
You've been
of
growing that organically.
Yes.
But 50,000 out of over 500,000. You still have over 450,000.
That 50,000 you speak to, that is more than 200,000 go, because one person of that 50,000 will convince 5 people because they're party people.
I mean, not
They are not
conceding to
voters.
that because, I mean,
I'm just
it's
saying,
your own data.
educating you.
You still have over
I'm educating you. Hold on,
350,000.
I'm educating you.
No, it's okay.
Those
And I
are
said
party members.
and I said if it's your
not
data,
your regular voters.
No problem.
Those
If
are
it's your
people
data, so you
with
have over
structures.
350,000 to go.
No. See, listen. I'm going somewhere. That is one. Then the second one is that you see 2023 election is an election like never before. So APC in the state of Lagos, you know why they are jittery now? Because it is an election that you can't just sit somewhere and write results. I don't know if you understand. Before now, PDP wins at the polling units, but by getting to collation center, things will change. But with this,
And you
it
were
can't
part of
happen
that changing
anymore.
Because you were in the APC.
You understand?
Then.
It
Were you
can't
part of
happen
that?
anymore.
So
you didn't answer
one
my
of the
question.
things.
Were you
one
a
of-
part of
one of
that?
the
Because
things I
you
was
were in the
busy-
APC,
Let me tell you something.
if
One of the
you
things I
allege
was-
that.
Hold on. One of the things I was busy doing while in that corridor was to understudy, the whole thing.
How do you mean in that corridor? You were a member of the APC.
Yes. I said,
So-
and while
so-
I was even consulting in that place, I was busy understudying the whole thing. And that is why I can do what I'm doing today. That's why if they hear Jandor, they will run, because I know everything.
Okay, so speak to what you have up your sleeves that you will
I won't tell you my
upturn this
strategy.
dynasty.
I won't tell you my strategy on national television. No. You want me to tell you I'm going to win them? No, we are going to win them. I won't tell you my strategy, but I'm sure they have seen one. One is the fact that when they decided to take the space off us and say they are going to brand the entire Lagos without allowing us to use billboard, to use posters. In fact, they flush our posters when we put it out there. We decided to take ourselves to the people by visiting the wards. When I go to visit any wards, I speak to people that are voting, traditionalists, Muslim community, CDAs, and the likes. You understand? My deputy will go into the market and speak to our mothers in the market. That is something that you can't do.
So if you have the trick, why did you need a popular face to be your running mate, in this election?
I didn't choose
Is it just to
Funke.
get,
I didn't choose
numbers?
Funke because she's a popular face. I chose her because she's qualified to be, even if you want to be governor of the state. What is wrong with her? This is somebody who has invested so much in this economy. This is somebody who has been an employer of labor in this economy. The two that are occupying this office as we speak never had cause to employ 2 people in their life before somebody gave them that office. This is us that have been, in our little age, we've been part of this economy. Our success story here is how there. So what is it? What is governance? If governance is about, managing people's resources, identifying best hand and see to the well-being of the people of Lagos. So what if you've been doing that over the years, and this one you are using people's resources. So if we have had cause to go and source for fund with these exorbitant rates in the market, and we're still able to turn it around, it shows that if you have this opportunity, we will do better than the people that are here. And more so, both of us had conviction within ourselves. We have that belief in ourselves to say we want to. Nobody railroaded us into this. No, we're not railroaded into this.
Well, a couple of issues to raise, really. It's always very interesting having this conversation, but still not convinced, really. I mean, in terms of empirical data, empirical evidence as to what you plan, except you're now saying that what you said happened in the APC when you were there is what you're trying to replicate now in this coming elections, because you have said that you know the things that used to happen.
It won't happen. It can't happen with this election, because this is a different election. This election of the votes you can't win at the polling unit, can't be won anywhere again.
Something interesting I want to show you, pardon me, something interesting I want to show you. So for Lagos particularly, which is our own base right now in this conversation, you would see that in that poll for the Southwest, yes, the APC is leading with what, 22%. I'm sure you've seen that poll. It's ANAP NOI polls. So 22% the APC. Labour Party is second, and your party is still third. So judging by the quantum of votes that Lagos has.
That's the party that is winning.
That's the party that is winning. Labour Party or APC?
The one you said is third.
Interesting. I mean, politicians, eternal optimists. But let's speak to the data we have now. So Labour Party even is still second in the Southwest, where Lagos has a huge voting population. You still remain third. So it is naturally believed that with that huge voting population, people would rather vote for Labour Party here in Lagos than vote for you. I know you're... I mean, I imagine you're still friends with Labour Party governorship candidate and PDP, judging from that poll.
Okay.
I know you're friends with him and all of that, but how do you slope to upturn that? Because Labour Party seems to have even an upper hand than yourself.
Okay, should I speak to you about this polling thing, right? This is not the first time you're going to get a poll that will speak, you know, to a particular candidate to high heavens.
But this particular one has proven to be right in previous times.
My dear brother,
the NOI polls.
See, let me tell you something. Politics, this trade, is beyond somebody sitting somewhere and you say you are gathering data. I don't even understand. Let me give you an example. I am from Lagos West. Okay? The largest local government. Because the ruling party have seen that we have already zipped up Lagos West, you know what they did? They went to call all our royal fathers, asked them to go and call all the, you know, the chiefs or the baales in, you know, in the hamlet to tell them to start campaigning for APC. I don't know if you understand. And if you then go to do a poll, and when they see you as government person, they'll say, hey, this is what we're doing. Yeah, okay, we're doing
It's not a government poll, but we need to go to Abuja. Now, Malkwe has a question. You still answer that Labour Party angle, but Malkwe needs to ask you a question.
I don't know what you're asking about Labour Party.
And
we don't have Labour Party.
It's over to you now.
Well, maybe he can rope in, you know, the answer to the question. Mr. Jandor, it's good to see you. I'm just wondering, at what point did you decide? Because when I listening to the answers, some of the answers that you have given so far, you talk about wanting to stop a dynasty. The problem with Lagos is that one person has been thinking for Lagos. Yet at some point, you did admit that you consulted for the Lagos state government.
I was just doing my business.
So at what point did you decide that you wanted to end a dynasty, one? And at the same time, at what point would you say that became a problem? Because it doesn't look like your fight is against the current governor of the state. Your fight seems to be against the dynasty, which you talk about as, you know, going on in Lagos.
Okay, so Malkwe, let's first take it from the last place. You see, the current governor is also a product of this terrible system that we're speaking to. And so, in fact, as far as this campaign and everything is concerned, I will tell you that the current governor is inconsequential. He's inconsequential because politically he has no experience, he has no structure. Somebody just handed that office to him on a platter of gold. So let's dump him, so we're not discussing him. Now, what we are speaking to is this hegemony, this monopoly that has been there over the years, okay? So when I make reference to the current governor, I just spoke about his 4 years in office, which has nothing to show for it, absolutely. I've given examples and some data to show that that's there, irrespective of the cosmetics and everything that you see. Now, this hegemony that we're speaking to, in 2011, as a matter of fact, I saw all of this and I was like irritated. I mean, just like every other person. And you've seen it played out again in 2015. And you ask yourself, why is it that this person would not like to return a performing governor? You know, Fashola in his second term almost paid for the fact that he did well in the state of Lagos. Ambode, you know, didn't survive it, and it has then become a pattern. So for us, since that time, we look at it and say, look, can we possibly continue this way? No, we can't. So there must be a terminal point. And that terminal point
just
is
a moment,
just like...
Mr. Adediran. Would you say that that is a fair assessment? Because in each of these situations, you say that these governors, you talk about Governor Fashola, you say he was a performing governor. You speak of Governor Ambode, you say he's a performing governor. What then now says that this current governor is not a performing governor? If all of them have had minds of their own to be able to perform while they've been in office?
No, Mark, you're mixing things up. I mean... You know, I said something here, and I'll come back to it again. There is none of this who would not require second-level approval before they can get things work done in Lagos State. Imagine if they had that independence. I believe the two that I mentioned would have really done very, very well in the state of Lagos. But this is this system that gave birth to them that we're speaking to. And I'm saying that the ones that even try to say, let me see if I can be man of myself, they pay dearly for it. That's what we're speaking to. So, and we're not, in fact, we're at the point where we just need to put a stop to it and break free and allow a lot of people to come into this space. See, it's so terrible that in Lagos, with all the opportunities that we have, we find it difficult to have people to come into our economy to play. Take, for instance, we have 180-kilometer coastline in Lagos, and today we can't have a Miami-like waterfront in the state of Lagos to say, you know what, just come. That's because somebody allegedly wants stake in every business that is coming. So that won't help and that won't help anybody to go. Look at this Fort Mainland Bridge. I knew about Fort Mainland Bridge in 2003 when the man used it to campaign for second term. In fact, we worked on that campaign for second term Fort Mainland Bridge. Fashola came also Fort Mainland Bridge. You know, Ambode came 1 year, he did the MOU, the council is 1 year after Fort Mainland Bridge. This person again has come with Fort Mainland Bridge since 2003. We need to put a stop to all of this and let Lagos work. Open it up.
Talk a lot about, you know, the state government.
Now, what do you intend to do about the...
But you have profited, you know, from, you know, this dynasty that you want to end.
What do you mean profited?
I'm glad you talked about your trajectory as you rose.
If I am a businessman, okay, and I render a service to you and you pay me, are you saying that's me profiting? I've given you my service, I've given you my professional service, and you're paying for that. So this is the problem that we have. That's why the person can arrogate to himself, I made this, I made even somebody that's a professor of law, you know, before joining your cabinet, you're beating yourself, say, I made this person, I made that person. Well, it's wrong. It has to stop.
We have to run now.
In the first place, if I can't add value to your business, will you hire me? I don't know if you understand.
But while you were in the APC, why wasn't it a problem, you know?
I was in APC, but I never contested for anything in APC. It was a problem because we started, it was about the same time that you started hearing Jandor in APC. It was trouble from day one because we were fighting the status quo.
Well, we have to run now. We have to run now. But in less than 30 seconds, you said that Mr. Atiku's victory will sort of will make your victory in Lagos easier. Right. You said that. I mean, naturally campaigned for him as well. But just recently, there have been allegations around him of corruption. In fact, the APC said that he needs to come clean on his scandalous confession of how he colluded with his former boss, Chief Obasanjo, to fleece the Nigerian Treasury using special-purpose vehicles as vice president in 1999. And I'd like to know, because I imagine you're close to him, can you vouch for him?
I can vouch for him.
So you believe that this is not true?
It is not true.
All right. We'd like to thank you so much. We're speaking with Mr. Abdulaziz Adediran, who is the PDP governorship candidate in Lagos State, also the founder of Core TV. Thank you so much for your time on the program. We'll go on a quick break now, and when we return, we'll still have a packed show for you, so please don't go away. Stay with us.